Thank you very much for visiting my channel. If not difficult, like and subscribe to my channel to always be aware of events. Thank. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky has urged civilians to evacuate the frontline Donetsk region as clashes with the Russian military and devastating airstrikes become ever more frequent. Zelensky warned in his daily address that thousands of people, including children, were still in the region's battleground areas, with 6 civilians killed and 15 wounded on Friday. According to the Donetsk governor, there's already a governmental decision about obligatory evacuation from Donetsk, Zelensky said, underscoring authorities' calls to leave the besieged region in recent weeks. Leave. We will help, Zelensky said. At this stage of the war, terror is the main weapon of Russia. The more people leave the Donetsk region now, the fewer people the Russian army will have time to kill. Official Ukrainian estimates put the number of civilians still living in the unoccupied area of Donetsk at between 200,000 and 220,000. Donetsk has faced the brunt of Russia's offensive since its assault on Kyiv failed weeks into the invasion launched on February 24. Donetsk together with the neighboring Luhansk region constitutes the Donbas, the area of eastern Ukraine Russian forces are hell-bent on seizing. Without the ability to keep them warm, Kyiv's Ministry of Reintegration of Temporarily Occupied Territories said in a statement. Zelensky, in his address, "They need to be evacuated, you cannot put them in mortal danger in the winter without heating, light." A mandatory evacuation notice posted Saturday evening said the coming winter made it a matter of urgency, particularly for the more than 50,000 children still in the region. Also once more pressed the international community, especially the United States, to have Russia officially declared a state sponsor of terrorism. The call came a day after a jail holding Ukrainian prisoners of war in Kremlin-controlled Olenivka was bombed, leaving scores dead, with Kyiv and Moscow trading blame. Zelensky accused Russia of deliberate mass murder of Ukrainian prisoners of war. As horrifying pictures emerged showing burnt husks of bodies lying among the charred remains of metal bunk beds inside the detention center. On Saturday, Ukrainian human rights official Dmytro Lubinets said on national television he had asked the International Committee of the Red Cross, ICRC, and the United Nations Human Rights Monitoring Mission to go to Olenivka. The ICRC has made a request but not yet obtained authorization from the Russians, he said.